time we make, over the years when we've made that transition from one era to the next, there's been this major growth that we've seen in the industry, and people who take advantage of it, they benefit the most when they get there first, because there's new opportunities for exploiting those new data and those new connections that weren't available.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast, broadcasting to you from the last day of the Possible Show, day 3, here in beautiful Miami, Florida. And we've got Jerome Shimizu, who is the CEO of ABCS Insights. How you doing?
Great to be here. Nice to meet you, Dylan.
Yeah, you too. So how's your show been?
It's been fantastic. This is my first Possible ever. We've been coming here for now 3 years, but first time I've gone myself.
Nice, okay. And tell us a little bit about your company and what were you guys setting out to do this week?
Yeah, so ABCS Insights, we do full funnel cross-media advertising effectiveness. So ABCS is our name, but it actually stands for what we measure. We do audience, A, B, brand, C, consideration, and S, sales measurement. So
nice.
We really...
Full funnel.
Exactly, yep.
So what are some of the things that stood out to you this week? Anything you're taking back to the teams?
Yeah, so a lot of stuff here. One thing is, I think I have a better understanding about how, AI has been disrupting this industry. We've been seeing certain things happening, and as always, when new technology comes out, we see winners and losers with that.
Yeah.
So getting a better understanding of how that's going to impact, it's coming more into crystallization of what's the impact, at least in the next 12 months.
Now, do you guys have your own platform, or are you kind of agnostic building out your models with tech? Like, is it more of like a framework of how you work as a consultancy, or do you actually have a platform that you guys built out and deploy your own measurement?
Yeah. So we use a lot of different tech stacks. Fundamentally, our core technology stack, we call it the data cube, where like the ABCS's, audience, brand, consideration, and sales, they live together, massively single sources, how we describe it. In terms of some of the tech stacks, we're using all of the major players out there, but one major kind of historical part of our tech stack is actually Microsoft. We started as a company as a Microsoft Azure BizSpark funded startup,
okay,
so we kind of have a very strong Azure connection.
What is it? Is it Firefly? Is that the Microsoft AI? I can't remember.
I wouldn't know. You have to talk to the CTO.
Let's go. Awesome. So, you mentioned winners and losers. Anybody stand out as winners this week of folks that you saw from either a panel perspective, conversations that you had? Are there things that stood out to you that you're going to be taking back to the teams?
Yeah, I'm still trying to process everything that I saw. I think one of the things that's changing here that we're going to have to think about how that's going to impact stuff is, when you think about what's happening with the AI disruption, really I try to put things into the most simplest, like, how did I experience that as a consumer kind of perspective, right? Yeah. That's one of the beautiful things about our industry is actually we live it every day, and so we're all
everybody's
experts.
Exposed to advertising and marketing and brands, so we all have an opinion and we all get to trial them in the real world.
Exactly, in the real world. That's part of the winners. Anything in the real world is really, I think, on the upside here. Yeah. So as an example, for me, just in my daily life, the other day I went and made some waffles, and maybe a month ago I would have typed in, "Hey, great recipes for waffles," and this time I just tried to type it into one of these AI systems, and it came back with me for a recipe.
All right, so my understanding is you guys had a little moment in the sunshine here this week too. You guys have presented on the innovation stage. What was that all about?
Yeah, that was great. So we did what I call, normally when I meet with clients, a brief history of ROAS. It's kind of like a brief history of time, but for ROAS, it's really like a story of what I've seen over the industry of the last 3 decades. And normally I talk about that with kind of 4 eras, but we added a 5th era today. And so I started to talk about we're moving from like the outcomes era to what we call the connected outcomes era. And so if you had talked to ABCS over the last several years, we talk about full funnel, cross-media, advertising effectiveness. But now we're still talking about that. We're taking it one step further and talking about that connective tissue between audience and brand and consideration and sales, right? And so that connective tissue is opening up new opportunities for marketers. We call that kind of cross-funnel thinking. So not just full funnel, but cross-funnel. And we unveiled some examples of like what we're seeing in those conversations. Every time we make, over the years when we've made that transition from one era to the next, there's been this major growth that we've seen in the industry, and people who take advantage of it, they benefit the most when they get there first, because there's new opportunities for exploiting those new data and those new connections that weren't available. So in this era, we talk about kind of three key pieces to that. Things are going to be much more connected, they're going to be much more consistent, and they're going to be much more causal. Connected, consistent, and causal. Connected, like I talked about, like not just thinking about what was my upper funnel effect and my lower funnel effect, but how do these things relate?
Interact
How can
with each
I,
other.
how can I take advantage of that? Consistent. It's been a long time coming here. People's like, hey, I'm kind of getting tired as a marketer of measuring this with a retail media network this way, and this a social media wall gutter in that way, and this other company and getting
having best practices for different channels and different formats.
But I want to have a single consistent
funnel.
way to measure everything in a fair and comparable way. So consistency, right? That's why we say consistent, but not just consistent. Causal, right? That's becoming increasingly awareness with brands of what that means by causal. Have you ever heard the phrase correlation is not causation?
Yeah.
Right? Well, people are saying, actually, I care about that now. They didn't really think about it much, but now we're hearing marketers like saying, I want to have a causal analysis where it's actually not just a correlation. So that's going to become a much bigger theme here in the next couple of years. We're seeing that. So connected, consistent, and causal. And then one other thing we want to talk about was with that kind of entering this fifth era ROAS, the connected outcomes era. We actually announced a new metric that we hadn't talked about publicly yet. We call it the Net Opportunity Score, NOS score, and that's like a fifth generation or a fifth era KPI that you can use to exploit these opportunities.
Is that a derivative Net Promoter Score?
It's different, yeah.
Okay.
It has a similar sound to it, but it is kind of like that. It's meant to be,
brand
an
health.
industry. It's meant to be an industry metric. So the idea behind it is, you'll talk to like shopper marketing guys and sales marketing guys, and they really focus on the lower funnel metrics like CDIs, like category development index, brand development index, to determine a market they might want to, or a segment they might want to go after. You talk to other folks on the branding sides, they talk about awareness and favorability and some kind of upper funnel metrics. Well, in this connected outcomes era, we're bringing data from the upper, middle, lower funnel to generate new KPIs that allow you to think about them all together and optimize and exploit opportunities that you wouldn't see when you look at them one at a time. So it brings new markets, new segments, new audiences. They become visible that would be invisible if you were only looking at one strata in the consumer journey.
Pretty exciting times.
We think so.
Awesome. Well, Jerome, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate you spending a little bit of time.
Nice to meet you and great talking to you.
If folks at home want to learn more or connect with your thinking, learn more about all this interesting stuff that you're developing on the measurement side, where do you want to send the audience?
abcsinsights.com.
Let's go. Thanks, everybody.